The Mauricio Pochettino era at Chelsea has officially begun. He's back in the Premier League and he's back in a top job, although this job is perhaps not like the others. It becomes his task to lift Chelsea up and out of the doldrums. Last season's horror show landed them in 12th, tallying just 44 points despite spending over 600 million. You know the story by now. So what can we expect from Poch's Chelsea? Let's take a look at that right now. Pochettino loves a 4-2-3-1 shape. He's not wedded to it, but the last decade has given the sense that he'll use it if he's got the players to do so. Here's how his typical Southampton side lined up. Schneiderlin, Font, Lallana, that's a real streets won't forget 11 right there. He installed the same shape at Spurs, something we'll dig into further in a moment, making the most of an exceptional group of players he largely inherited, and that's important, remember that for later. PSG was slightly different. He settled on a 4-3-3 because there was no other way to make the personnel work. A front three of Messi, Neymar and Mbappe is wonderful in attack, but it does little to no defensive work, and that had to be counterbalanced. Now, arriving at Chelsea, the bones of an effective 4-2-3-1 are there if Poch wants to go tried and trusted. Some players fit the system brilliantly, although he will need to go to the transfer market to fill in the gaps. Let's go back to that Spurs setup then, as this was pretty much peak Poch and likely the standard bearer for what he wants his team to look like. The team was led by goal machine Harry Kane and set up to service him. Pochettino deployed Christian Eriksen, a natural number 10, in a narrow right-wing role to open up crossing angles to Kane. That connection directly yielded 4 goals in 2015-16, then 6 in 2016-17, the joint most in the league. He did the same at Southampton, giving James Ward-Prowse his breakthrough season mostly as a right winger, encouraging him to cross to Ricky Lambert. The fullbacks also played a massive part in the attacking phase. First it was Danny Rose and Kyle Walker, then later Kieran Trippier and Ben Davies, pushing all the way up, maintaining width, getting into the opposition box and supplying chances. This tactic hit its peak in 2017-18 when Trippier served up 5 assists for Kane and Davies served up 4. Giving such attacking responsibility to the fullbacks changes the way your central midfielders can behave, something Pochettino has always recognised, planned and recruited for. Rarely have his number 8s been prime creative types. Instead, he's mostly used workhorse defensive types who can cover the large spaces that others leave when pushing forward. At Spurs, Moussa Dembele was a special player and Victor Wanyama complemented him. Poch also coached Wanyama at Saints and put him in a midfield shield with Morgan Schneiderlin. And when he took the PSG job, one of the first players through the door was Danilo Pereira, who excels in this area. The lesson is simple. If you want your fullbacks to be key attacking forces, you have to make sacrifices elsewhere. Finally, let's look at those 3 attacking midfield profiles. They shared valuable off-the-ball traits like pressing acumen and defensive work rate, but they were all distinctly different on the ball. Eriksen was the playmaker, sitting in the right half space. Dele Alli was like a second striker, getting into the box and onto Eriksen's balls at times, and Son Heung-min was the runner in behind, able to stretch the pitch with speed and directness. It was a healthy mix of profiles, and again, you can see traces of it in Pochettino's Southampton season, with Jay Rodriguez running off Lambert and Adam Lallana as the playmaker. You can bet elements of this will be recreated at Chelsea in this new chapter. So let's get to Chelsea then, and the project in waiting for Pochettino. He'll have looked at the squad and done a mental checklist that yielded some good news, but some bad. Attacking fullbacks? Ben Chilwell and Reece James is one of the best pairings in world football, while Marc Cucurella and Malo Gusto provide strength in depth. Varied attacking midfield personnel? Pochettino should have fun casting the new roles of Ali, Eriksen and Son. Sterling and Mudryk have great stretching pace, and Kunku could be a lethal second striker, but there's a couple of playmaker options too. Big, burly, yet graceful centre-backs? This was another feature of his Spurs side, and he's got options aplenty here. He'll love Benoit Badiashile, and Levi Colwell's passing range is particularly interesting should he be given the chance to shine in blue. All good so far, but it's time to address the issues. Workhorse midfielders who can cover the space? Kante was the only senior option here and he's gone, while Enzo Fernandez doesn't meet the criteria. He needs to be given a partner who can cover ground and provide great energy and mobility in the middle. An elite level goalkeeper? Edouard Mendy had a career year in 2021, but has now departed. Kepa has come in and been okay, but for the level Chelsea aspire to, okay is not enough. Pochettino has never been gifted a ball-playing goalkeeper in his career so far, so that profile is not essential to success, though we all know which way the game is heading, so perhaps this will be his chance. Strong fitness levels? Another great weakness of Chelsea's squad last season was poor fitness levels. A pre-season in which they took more flights than played games set them off on a bad start, and it never got better. Frank Lampard consistently criticised the fitness levels while he was caretaker, and that will need to change moving forward. Fortunately, that's very fixable this summer. Pochettino will no doubt lead a gruelling pre-season fitness regimen to get these guys up to speed. They have to be fit to play Poch's way. It will not work otherwise. And finally, a reliable goal-scoring number 9. Well, this is a question mark. This was the root of so many issues last season, and it's a must-solve this summer. They signed Nicholas Jackson, who blossomed last term at Villarreal, but up until recently was viewed as more of a winger than a forward. He has shown elements of hold-up play and an ability to work with his back to goal, then blend that in with brilliant speed and a long stride, and his shooting is pretty pure too. But Chelsea and Poch may not be done in this market, as this is a big, big step for Jackson. So, plenty to do and not a lot of time to do it in, but Pochettino takes the Chelsea reins with the club at a low ebb, a full pre-season in waiting, and no European football clogging the schedule. There are some key needs to address in the transfer market, but the bones of an excellent squad and system are present. They just need a bit of sculpting. It's a massive season for the Blues as they look to bounce back into the Premier League top 4, but also a massive season for Pochettino too, as he left PSG under a bit of a cloud, having surrendered a Ligue 1 title to Lille and failing to realise the club's European dream. He's been out of the game for a year since. So can Poch lead Chelsea back to the top, and in the process restore both of their reputations? And if so, what's a realistic expectation for 2023-24? This will be fascinating to watch unfold.